Hi guys, so today I'm actually inspired. I was looking in my book of recipes and it's called the Soup Bible. If you guys can just excuse that music in the background, that's actually me cooking in the kitchen on a regular basis. Everything that I do in my life, I have to have music attached to it somehow. But anyway, back to what I'm doing today. It's, as you can see, it's curry salmon soup. And the way I cook is actually, you take away, you add, you make as you go along. Sometimes I follow, ingredient for ingredient in the recipe book, but today I'm choosing not to because some of the ingredients I don't have, and I'm substituting those ingredients with others. So our first step is going to be on medium heat. You're actually going to be putting in 4 tablespoons of butter. This is what the recipe is calling for. You just have to melt the butter down. The reason why my butter is actually changing color was because I had it on high. You want to start on medium heat. So the ingredients that I have that I'm making do with, that it wasn't asking for, it just indicated that you have to use onions and potatoes. I'm actually using potatoes for this recipe, but I'm using 2 kinds of potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Hey guys, by the way, I learned something new today about sweet potatoes. I always used to, since I came to the U.S., I always used to wonder why certain people called certain things on Thanksgiving, for example, when we first got here, because we don't celebrate, or we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving in Africa where I'm from. They used to say sweet potatoes and they used to say yams. So I used to wonder, I'm like, wait, are they 2 totally different things? Because they're the same color. Have you ever wondered that? If you have, as luck would have it, I have come to learn that sweet potato and yams are basically the same thing. But the difference between the 2 is that it depends from what region the sweet potato came from, or the yam, sorry. Either or, whatever you want to call it. Whatever region they came from, then that's where they get the name, whether sweet potato or yam. So, alright, let's continue. So I have gone ahead and put in my onions, as you can see, and now I'm just going to wait until they caramelize. Yeah, so right now I'm not adding seasoning to it because the butter is salted. And the next step is I'm going to let it brown for a little bit, and then I'm going to start adding my vegetables. The only vegetable that I'm not going to be adding is my rosette potatoes. But the rest of it, everything else, as you can see, I am adding. The onions have, browned up like the way I wanted them to. I am now going to be adding my it's curry powder, but every Indian person that I talk to, they say it's not curry powder. Curry powder, guys, is actually the sauce. The powder is turmeric powder. I'm just going to add some. If I were you, because I'm just going off the top of my head, I just feel for spices. I know how much spice that I need to add just by looking. But if you're just trying to do this soup on your own, I would suggest that you use 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder, and then go from there. So I'm just going to stir it in. And why I'm feeling soupy actually is because we actually, on the East Coast today, we woke up with snow showers. I know some certain parts of the U.S. actually got snowed today. But, so I was kind of feeling soupy, to cook something hearty, something spicy to keep me warm. I don't know, whenever it's winter, this is what I do. So now, I'm going to add my green beans. This is like 1.25 cups of green beans. All I did was bought fresh green beans, cut the ends off, and then just cut them down, I think in 4s. So yeah, I'm going to be adding that in there. Next, I am going to be adding my celery and my orange bell pepper. All of that goes into the pot. And last but not least, I am going to be adding my sweet potatoes or yams. Now, when I went to the grocery store, it said sweet potatoes. Now, I just have to investigate as to where specifically sweet potatoes come from and which region of the U.S. yams come from. So you add that in there, and then you just stir it up. And then I am going to now let this just cook on its own for about 15 minutes, let's just say, and then I'm going to start adding my other ingredients. So now for my next step, I am going to be using garam masala, it's called. Let me see if I can straighten that out for you guys to see. Yep, garam masala. Of course, this you can also find in your Indian store. And all I'm going to do is just add a little bit in. And then just stir it up. Give it a nice good stir. Let me turn this light on, haha, so you guys can see. That's much better. And coriander powder. And this also you can find at your Indian store. And I'm just putting in maybe a whole teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half. And I'm just going to stir that in. And you guys have to excuse me, I've been sneezing the whole time. It's so fragrant in here, it's so potent in here, and I've just been going back to back to back sneezing. And as you guys saw in my previous video, my makeup tutorial, I am definitely getting over something, and hence I'm making the soup to help me out with my cold. Next on the list of ingredients, I am going to be adding cayenne pepper. Yeah, so don't mistakenly call this cayenne pepper. It's clearly cayenne pepper. This is well known to most people from Africa, if not all. And let's see, I know South America, but you can find this. You can find this in your Hispanic food aisle or any ethnic store. Once again, just go in and ask them for cayenne pepper and not cayenne pepper. Now, if you are not accustomed to spicy food, please, please, please take your time. Just add 1 teaspoon maybe if you're just starting, you know, if you're just learning about cayenne pepper. Don't mistakenly put as much as I just put in there. Once again, let me mention that I did grow up in Africa, and this is why I can handle spice better than maybe somebody that grew up in America or the U.S. and they're not used to spicy food. Next, I'm going to be adding chili powder. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know of this powder. Once again, for me, it's going to be a dash. Next, I am going to be adding my black pepper. You know, sometimes I know, like, you guys get, like, the whole peppercorn. I'm sorry. I know some of you guys have the peppercorn in the grinder. You can use that, but I just use the regular ground black pepper, and to that I'm just adding like a little dash once again, and I am going to be stirring it up. And for my sweet potato or my yam, all I did was basically I had it filled up in this bowl. It was just one big sweet potato that I added, like I cut up, so it wasn't like much. And then the rosette potatoes, it was 3 of them, 3 medium-sized ones. Next, I am going to be adding something called Maggi Cube. Now, for those of you Africans, especially from where I'm from, we call it chicken soup. It looks like that. Let me see if I can bring it close. Next, I am going to be adding my turkey. Like I said, it said the title of the recipe was curry salmon, and I do not have salmon, so I am substituting for salmon. If you eat meat and use turkey, go ahead, substitute for that. Like I said, I always cook with substitution, and that was just a whole pack of it that I cut up into little bite sizes. So when it cooks, it won't be like, you know, super huge. I'm just going to incorporate that into the pot. And for my next ingredient, I'm going to be using coconut drink, but this is actually coconut milk. And I am going to be adding that into it. So with the spices being Indian, you know, I was thinking kind of like maybe this could turn into like a Thai meal or something, you know, but it's like India, meet Thai, meet Africa, we're all over the place. So whatever you know, whatever you come up with, whatever you have, like I'm a big believer that you don't have to go out there and buy ingredients. Whatever ingredients you have at home, utilize that. And come up with your own recipe. Like, cooking should be fun. It shouldn't be like, oh my god, I don't have this ingredient, so, you know, I am going to be now, like, scramming to go to the store to get an ingredient. I don't like doing that. I just like utilizing everything that I have at home. Now, this recipe called, anyway, this brings me to the fact that this recipe calls for cream, and I'm not using cream, instead I'm using coconut milk. So just a disclaimer for you guys, the Maggie cube that I showed earlier, it does have MSG. I totally forgot to inform you guys of this, and so if you are opposing to eating MSG, please, please, please substitute that for something else, maybe like seasonal or like other, you know, seasoning salts. Yeah, so for the coconut drink that I'm using in the soup, I just basically used a 32-ounce container or a 946 milliliter container. So that's what I'm using in there. Okay, so now I am going to be actually adding my stock, and my stock looks like this. For you guys, this was actually in the freezer. This has defrosted, hence I'm adding it. But so for all my Africans out there that cook, I know you guys probably most likely know how to make this stock. My dad actually just taught me how to make this stock. All you do basically is just, it's like a soup, like it's a broth that you make. Get whatever, you know, for mine I use turkey neck. You just boil that in the water, like maybe onions or so, or garlic, you just toss in there, and then season it any way you want, and then just let it boil. And all I did was add it into the container and used whatever amount I needed, and then froze the rest of it. So now I am now going to take my defrosted one, and all the only thing that's floating in there, guys, don't freak out, it's fat. That's all it is. So now I'm just going to be pouring it into the pot. The broth, basically, and the turkey neck bone. But just be careful, since it's in the container, it could fall out. Basically, I'm just letting it pour out. But it could fall out and cause, like, you know, a major splash. So just go ahead and use, like, a spoon. Like, I'm going to be using my wooden spoon. Just go in, scoop them up, and put them in the pot. So there it is. I've added the turkey neck bones in there. As you can see, I just used my wooden spoon, and I submerged them into the soup. So it didn't specifically call for a specific white wine, but I am going to be using Stellina de Notte Pinot Grigio today. This is, let's see here, 2012, and I'm just going to be using 2/3 of a cup into my soup. So there you have it, and then now I'm just going to have a boil for 15 minutes, or actually come to a boil, sorry. And then I am going to be adding my shrimp at the end. That's going to be my last ingredient. But before I, you know, go off rambling again, let me not forget I have to add my potatoes. So I wish you guys can see me back here. This is how I cook. Let me show you guys how I cook. Guys, this is how I cook all the time. My husband, like, freaking comes into the kitchen and he's like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, cooking. I don't know if that's the African side of me, but I've always been this way. If anybody knows me, even at work, like, every little bit of music that I hear, I am on it. I am dancing all over the place. And I actually think that, you know, it adds, like, pizzazz to my soup or anything that I'm cooking. It adds, like, flavor, I guess. All the love that I'm putting into the pot. So, yeah, so that's how it is. So now that it's been boiling for about, I know I said 15 minutes, but I let it boil for 20 minutes. You can actually boil it to the point that you can feel with your spoon, be it your wooden spoon or whatever spoon you want to use to cook. You can actually, you know, grab a potato and just go against the pot and just try to squish it. And if it's soft, not to the point that it's going to break, then you add your shrimp. And I'm just adding, I'll say like a cup of shrimp, or a cup and a quarter. I'll say a cup, because these are pretty big shrimps. Add them in there, because the reason why I kept this until the end is because shrimp doesn't take that long to cook. For those of you that don't know, it just takes like maybe 2 to 3 minutes for shrimp to cook. Anyway, so I'm just going to cover it back up for the shrimp to cook, and voila, that's it.